there, my fellow viewers who are looking at me through their box. It is I, Robert J. James, and I will now tell you of the general devastation to the public right now, tornadoes. These forces of nature will devastate our largest cities in the amount of time it takes you to make a quick bet with your old pal Joe. Anyway, a tornado will be created if a warm and a cold body of air start spinning in a circular motion against each other, which is not a big problem until they start to touch each other, until that wind touches the ground. When it touches the ground, it will destroy everything you can see. Now that I've told you what the tornado is, imagine multiple of these happening in a very close range to each other. Well, this is no dream, my friend. Right now, in Indiana, Illinois, and Missouri, there are tornadoes that are devastating the land, with so far around 750 deaths and $17 million in damage, with an average speed of 300 miles per hour on each tornado sweeping through cities. And now for an ad break of a gadget for everyone's homes, radios.
Good morning there, folks. My name is Suzanne Williams, and today I will be delivering your daily weather report. On April 10th, 1965, several deadly tornadoes broke out in just one day, leaving billions in repair damages and hundreds dead. Several Midwestern and Southeastern states were torn apart by what is now being called one of the most deadly weather attacks of the 1960s, otherwise known as the 1965 Sunday tornado outbreak. Over the period of almost 3 days, 55 tornadoes tore their way across Cedar County, Iowa, Cuyahoga County, Ohio, Kent County, Michigan County, Montgomery County, Indiana. The massive outbreak left behind nothing but a trail of destruction, killing 266 residents and injuring 3,662 others, leaving hundreds homeless and over $217 billion in damage repairs. The outbreak was said to be at its height during the first 16 hours and 35 minutes of its arrival, when there were reported 48 normal tornadoes and at least 4 rare double tunnel tornadoes, making one of the strongest tornado outbreaks in history.
Reporting live in Xenia, Ohio. Here today on April 3rd at 4 p.m., a deadly F5 tornado has struck Xenia. This deadly tornado has resulted in 33 deaths and 1,150 citizens injured. It reached wind speeds of up to 300 miles per hour. The tornado had a path of up to half-mile wide. What a bummer. The tornado has resulted in $600 million in damages and has destroyed 1,400 businesses, which is about half of the businesses here in Xenia. Some of the buildings that the violent death storm has destroyed are 9 schools, 9 churches, and 160 local businesses. This just in, I'm getting some new information. Apparently, this tornado is believed to be a part of what's now being called the 1974 super outbreak. This series of tornadoes has affected parts of the Midwest, the southern and eastern parts of the United States, and parts of Ontario, Canada. This outbreak has resulted in a record number of damages, a whopping $4.58 billion, and with wind speeds of, what's this? 318 miles per hour. Now back to you, Craig, for more information.
Good afternoon, the Weather Channel. My name is Amber Spyglass, and I'm here in Moore, Oklahoma. On May 3rd, 1999, we were devastated with the recent F5 tornado. 36 fatalities have been confirmed, and about 583 injuries so far. The tornado that swept through Moore caused over $1 billion in damage, with winds over 300 miles per hour. This is significantly more damage than tornadoes have done in the past, and is the greatest tornado in the United States records, with over $1 billion of damage. We have had tornadoes like this in Gerald, Texas, that has caused about $40.1 million in damages and had over 27 fatalities. Though the Texas tornado of 1997 was bad, it does not compare to the severity of the Moore, Oklahoma tornado. Back to the studio where we talk about the most recent political issues.
What's up, homies? It's your boy, Christopher Smith, and I'm here to give you the hot info about the latest trendy gossip. Tornadoes. The storm catchers have been going out to record some epic information about tornadoes. Lately, the Joplin Tornado has been tearing through Joplin. It's a yoink and still $2.9 billion in property damage. That's a lot more than I make in a year. Anyway, it cut power lines and other utilities, causing all the peeps around not to be able to play Fortnite. RIP. It reached a top speed of 200 plus miles per hour and killed 153 people and injured 1,150 people as well. It was a 5 on the Fujita scale, which is a rating system that scientists use to document tornadoes based on wind speeds and damage in dollars, and cut a 6-mile path into a highly populated area. Now let's talk about our Pogger sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends. We've all seen these clips before, and if you haven't, now you have. These are the tornado experts throughout the years, and I have decided to bring them all to the future to discuss with them on how tornadoes have changed with the help of climate change, and just generally how tornadoes have gotten worse over time. Let's welcome all of our guests.
Am I dead? God? God, where are you, God? Where are you, God?
None of us are God, honey.
So I'm not in heaven?
No.
Welcome, tornado experts of the 20th and 21st century. My name is Sash. I gathered you all here today to talk about tornadoes. If you haven't already known, tornadoes have been changing due to many factors, but climate change is one that has affected patterns of tornadoes, especially climatic trends.
Climate change, climatic trends, what are those and how do they affect me? And anyway, why are you all dressed like hooligans?
I was about to say the same thing to you. Oh, burns.
I can answer that question about what climate change is and what climate trends are. Climate trends are how we measure how a specific severe weather event has changed over time. Climate change refers to a long-term shift in temperatures and weather patterns. That's what climate change is, and that's what climatic trends are. How do y'all know?
How did you not know that? Never mind. What patterns do you want to discuss with tornadoes? I don't want this to be a total bummer and waste of my time.
We're about to get to that, but first, we're going to compare and contrast some of the severe tornadoes from your time period. First, in 1925, we have the Indiana, Illinois, and Missouri tornado. Next, we have the 1965 Palm Beach Sunday tornado outbreak in Cedar County, Iowa, to Cuyahoga County. Next up, we have the 1974 super tornado outbreak, taking over 14 different states. Next up, we have the 1999 Oklahoma tornado, taking place in Moore, Oklahoma. And last but not least, we have the Joplin, Missouri tornado, taking place in Joplin, Missouri.
Was that all really necessary?
Yes, of course it was, because we need to compare the tornadoes throughout the years with the experts. What do you notice about the tornadoes over time? Tornadoes have over 300 miles per hour winds.
But not all of them have such high winds. The 1965 tornado had only 80 mile per hour wind. Yet how did it have so much damage?
Some of these may not have high wind speeds, but may have multiple tornadoes happening at once. That's why they could cause so many casualties and damages without having such high wind speeds.
That makes sense. We didn't have many of those back in my time.
Have you also noticed the damages have increased over time as well? That means that tornadoes are getting stronger.
That is true. I have noticed this. But I have also noticed that tornadoes are most common in Tornado Alley, but they have started spreading out throughout other parts of the U.S.
That is correct. Now look at the graph I found. Now, comparing that to our timeline of tornado disasters, you can clearly tell that climate change has affected our weather patterns, and especially our tornado patterns. That's why I brought you all here. We need to work together to stop tornadoes from destroying the U.S. by analyzing the patterns over the years. I would just go to the Hollow Library, but it was destroyed by a tornado, which has become common because of climate change. A Hollow Library? That sounds like something from Fort future.
What about climate trends? Since we are in the future, we should know more about them.
Yeah, how have tornadoes changed over the years?
I can tell you what I know.
I can tell you.
How about we all take turns?
Good idea. First, let's talk about frequency. How often are tornadoes happening?
Well, it looks like the amount of tornadoes happening per day is increasing. And what's this? So many as 30 tornadoes happening per day in the U.S.?
Correct. Now what about the severity of tornadoes? How much damage are they causing?
Tornadoes have become more clustered. From 1994 to 2016, the severity has increased by 5.5%. I definitely did not know that, future man.
Of course you did, because you're old. Roasted.
Why are you roasting me, you animal? Do you want to roast me so it'll be cooked and ready to eat?
Calm down. We need to talk about the duration of tornadoes. Like how long they last?
Tornadoes have only lasted about 20 minutes in the past, but tornado durations varies based on the severity of the tornadoes and can last for multiple hours. The longest tornado in history is 3.5 hours. There has been an increase in longer lasting tornadoes.
Exactly. Now what about timing? When do they happen? Is it during the tornado season?
While tornadoes normally happen in the summer months, they have started occurring in winter months. This is because temperatures are rising and winter months are becoming more ideal temperatures for tornadoes.
Bingo! Now, for a bonus, who wants to talk about how the locations are changing?
Me. Apparently in the last 20 years, Tornado Alley, which is the area where the most severe and powerful tornadoes form, has been shifting east. Even though a large amount of tornadoes still occur in Tornado Alley, there has been a decrease in the amount that is forming there, with more and more tornadoes forming in the southeast of the U.S., especially in Mississippi and in Alabama. More specifically, east of the Mississippi River, where some powerful and long-lived twisters have been forming.
See? These are the experts, and they know what they're talking about. They know a whole bunch. Now that I've discussed this information, it's important to realize how studying the weather patterns over different periods allows us to be able to predict future weather events and future climate change.
If this is what happens in the future, I'm a little scared about how society is going to be. I'm a little scared of how society got to this point.
Is that all we were brought here for? To talk about how the world is going to heck?
Pretty much. You want to say anything to the audience before you get teleported back with the time travel button I have?
Well, I didn't know there was an audience to be entertained.
Subscribe to my YouTube at Christopher the Best Gamer.
Just send me back to where I came from. I want my neon back.
Agreed, but I don't want neon.
Why neon?
That's all we have time for, folks. Thanks for tuning in to our holo television. And thanks to our live audience and holograms sent in to watch the show. One last goodbye for our guests for helping us save the planet.
Now that you've finished watching our film, we have a couple of people we would like to thank.
I would like to thank Miss Corbin for being the administrator of this project and allowing us to do whatever we see creatively fit to complete this project.
And we would also like to thank Miss Snow for allowing us to use the Hive as a place to film.